This is Australia. This is what Australia looks like. This is a map from 1845, and as you can see, it's got the traditional shape of Australia, the shape that we've been shown our whole lives. But how long has Australia actually been like this? How long has it been this size and this shape? This is a map from 1587, the Monty Planisphere. And as you can see, we've got Africa, South America, and so around here we have Asia. Okay, so this is where Australia should be. But as you can see, there is a landmass there, but it does not look like Australia, like the Australia that we've been shown. This map is dated 1519, and it's the same thing. What we get here is we've got Africa, India, so this is Asia, and there's no Australia. But you can see on this one, this is an earlier map. This land actually goes right up the circle of the Earth, right, and right up here. You can see there's even land. It's almost completely encircled by lands. This is Brazil, so that would be South America, and that would, I guess, be the Straits of Magellan in here. And what this is all these land masses that we saw on the first map. Okay, so the Earth that we know, the realm has been changing, right? Again, no Australia, but a lot of islands. This is a map from 1607. And again, where is Australia? Australia should be here. And as you can see, they have called it Terra Australis, this landmass, which goes across both, all both circles of the Earth. This is obviously, yeah, the way the map's drawn, but you can see across the whole bottom here, we have one piece of land called Terra Australis Incognito, unknown. And up here we have New Guinea, all right, and New Guinea exists today above Australia. This is a map from 1599, and again, no Australia, like Australia should be here. All we have is this massive landmass going across the bottom, right? This is how they're drawing it, obviously as a globe. And over here we have New Guinea. And again, New Guinea is now above Australia. It's a small island above Australia, but there is no Australia here. This map is 1684, and it's an interesting one because we can see the outlines down here of some land masses, right? We've got New Guinea as an island over here. Down here we've got New Zealand, right? Zealand Newer. And that's kind of where it would be. And I'm not sure if this is the top of Australia here, or at least what was there when they made this map. But if we come over the other side as well, it's still called Terra Australis, but now Terra Magellanica Australia Incognita. So basically that's from Magellan saying he's discovered it. So we have this down here, right? But look at what we have up here. The new land of Concordia, and starting to see a bit of the traditional shape of Australia. Okay, so again, something has gone on here. This map is from 1722, and as you can see, well, it's not complete, but there's definitely nothing at the bottom here. Okay, we've just got the circle of the Antarctic, so they knew there was something there, but they weren't showing us. But all of this landmass across the bottom, including Australia, which should be here, has disappeared. This map is 1730, and as you can see, there's nothing at the bottom. They've just taken it off, so there's no land mass, around the outside or at the bottom of this map. So there is no Australia. at all in this map. This map is dated 1597, and as you can see down here, Terra, Australis. Okay, but now it's drawn on the bottom of a globe. Okay, so instead of the land going around the outside, as we saw in the first map, they've basically turned it into a continent sitting at the bottom of their globe. But still, no landmass of the Australia that we know today. Now, this map is dated 1589, so earlier than the last one, and finally we have something that resembles Australia. So there is some difference in the dating on these maps, and that could be down to the fact that they just put the wrong dates on them, or they don't know the correct dates, or probably what's happened is the information that was coming in took a while to get around, right? Because most maps are made off previous, what they call source maps. And so that's why we get the Australia here around the same time that we also see all the land masses around the outside. So something has gone on here with our realm, like the land masses have changed. And you can see this in other continents as well, like South America, North America, even Africa changes its shape. It looks like we've been inundated by something, maybe a flood. And the dating on these maps is pointing to this flood, this deluge, being, not 6,000 years ago, but more like 500 or 600 years ago. This map is 1636. Again, no land at the bottom anymore. That's all gone. And Australia, now New Holland, is starting to form the traditional shape. And here we have New Guinea above it. This map is 1652, and here we go. So we've got, a fairly traditional outline of Australia, not quite what we see today, but interestingly, it is connected to land that goes up the top here, right? Bit of a break there, but definitely to this. And you can see there's a river marked here, water plateaus, rivers, reservoirs. So this has been mapped because I know where the rivers are. But look, it's attached to Australia. That is not there anymore. So down here we have a bigger map, and there you go, New Holland, right? And I'm not sure where these natives are supposed to be from, as they are drawn inside Australia. And what do we have? Elephants, right? And some people who are not looking like the natives that we are told are the natives, like the Aboriginals, right? More elephants, deer. What's that, a rhinoceros or something? So totally different. We're told that there's only marsupials in Australia, and that's because it was detached from the other land masses for so long. So what are they trying to tell us in this map? And this map is 1690, and again, all the land masses at the bottom here gone. We do have uh, New Zealand, one of the coasts of New Zealand, and over here there is another bit down here, a bit of an island edge there, but Australia really starting to look like the traditional shape, although Australia is, sort of pointy and looks a lot wider than it is today. And again, we have this bit going up the side here, right? All marked off with towns and rivers. And it looks like it continues to go right up into New Guinea. So again, the land masses have changed, especially Australia. This shaped continent did not exist in the earlier maps. If you look at the 1500s, early 1600s, it's not there on any of them. And then it starts to appear slowly in the 1600s. And this map is 1690, as you can see up here, Grand Tartaria. Okay, a lot of the land mass is looking different. A lot more islands out here off Africa. India looks different. The islands around the South Pacific, much bigger than they are today. And we have the top of Australia. Okay, but still connected up here. Now, this could be the Cape York Peninsula, right? But still doesn't look a lot, it's too wide, like it doesn't quite look like Australia. So this is, 1690, right? So it's about, what, 330 years ago or something, and we still don't have the proper shape. Of course, they say Australia was discovered in the 1600s by the Dutch, and then Captain Cook got out here in 1770, and in 1788 it was declared a British colony. So the question is, how did we go from a map like this, right, with this landmass where Australia should be, to the maps of today, where Australia is a much different place? It's a good question. And what it looks like's happened is these lands on the outside, they turned into the land across the bottom of the globe, because this is obviously drawn as a circle, a flat plane. And as we go further in time, it turns into a globe, and all of these lands around the outside are conglomerated into one landmass at the bottom of the ball. And that's why, these maps are showing this land, but they're showing it in a different format. So what it looks like has happened is this landmass here has sunk or been inundated, and Australia would be around here, right? This is the Tropic of Capricorn, which does go through northern Australia, and so this is Australia, and New Zealand would be part of this landmass as well. Are there more land masses off the west coast of Australia? I'm not sure, but I have seen maps that show a continent out here. And what's interesting is if you zoom in here, apart from the griffins and well, I guess they're griffins too, dragons, we have a camel and we have rabbits. Australia has the largest feral camel population in the world. We actually now export camels to the Middle East, and we also have the largest feral rabbit population in the world. And we're told that the rabbits, just jumped on boats and hitched a ride, and the camels were brought over. Is that true, or were they already here? Is the question. And here we have what looks like might be a possum, which we do have in Australia. And an interesting thing is the people of this land. I don't know if these are people or if they're some kind of primate. We have some people here, but they're drawn light skinned. All right, and it's called New Guinea here. You can see New Guinea is now above Australia. So it's very interesting, but the point of this video is to show you that Australia is a new land, like less than 500 years old, according to these maps, at least in the shape it is. So this middle bit would be old, right? A very old land. And the rest sunk away, and New Zealand got a bit of the land here. I do find it interesting, though, that there are no cities drawn on this land. Now, does that mean maybe it was unexplored and they just didn't have the information? I mean, that could be it. Because clearly there are old world cities and towns in Australia. They're everywhere, all the old world buildings. And as you can see up here, they show the old world buildings. So that's a little bit of anomaly, right? But it looks like this is Australia and the rest has gone into the sea, apart from New Zealand. And I just want to show you up here, Japan on this map. There it is there. This is Japan. Well, Japan's actually this little bit here, right, that's left. This went under as well. And what I find interesting about this is off the coast of Japan, probably around here somewhere, there is a sunken temple or city called Yonaguni. So is that one of these cities that is now on the bottom of the ocean? And if that's true, how many more are out there? Right? It's an interesting question because we have sunken cities all over the realm. They're definitely off the coast of India, and this is India. You can see here, Delhi. Okay, bit of a different shape. But when the tsunami hit, I think it was around 2000, 2001, in the Bay of Bengal in here, they saw cities. And on this map, you can see this whole coastline is decked with cities. So if this has changed, if some of this land here went underwater, these would be the cities that people were seeing and that were found submerged in the Bay of Bengal. And the other one that I'll point out is Africa. So this is Africa. This is the Delta and Nile, right? The Nile River, Cairo. Interesting that the pyramids are more up here, not down here. Okay, so this is Memphis. And it looks like it's showing us pyramids, tall, skinny pyramids like we find in Ethiopia, but none up here at Giza. So that's interesting. But also, they have found sunken cities off the coast of Egypt in the Mediterranean, right? The most famous one being Alexandria. And what do we have out here in the Delta Islands? But cities. Okay, so did these all go under in the deluge? And that's why we're finding sunken cities there. Because we find these everywhere. The other one, I guess, that most people have heard of would be Bimini, right? The Bimini Road, which is off the coast of the US, right? Sort of Cuba. And again, if we look at here, look at Florida. It's like it's not a it's now called the Panhandle because it's like literally a skinny handle. Look how fat it is there. Much more land. Cuba, much, much bigger than it is today. So again, does this mean we've lost land here and around here? And so these cities here are underwater. Is that the Bimini Road? Is that why we find cities underwater everywhere? But I mean, the fact that we find any cities underwater tells us that there has been a deluge, a flood, that the lands have changed. They've either been flooded out or they've sunk underwater, and they have taken the cities with them, right? I mean, clearly that's the answer. So when we look into these old maps and we see maps like this with all the land around the outside and the maps that show all the land across the bottom, they're showing us, they're telling us that in the past, 400 or 500, maybe 600 years ago, they knew there was more land. There was more land, and something has happened, and we have lost a lot of land, and it has ended up with a lot of these cities being submerged, and with Australia here being formed. So I guess the question is as well is what's happened to all these other lands around the outside? Are there more land masses, continents, islands further out? Because taking the information that these maps give us, it would seem that way. So there you go, guys. I just wanted to show you that the maps of the world that we can access, they're showing us the history that it was a much bigger place, much more land, and there has been some cataclysm of some kind of deluge or land sinking or something major has gone on. So please let me know your thoughts on this. Do you have any other interesting maps that show this? Because I've only shown a selection. There are, I don't know how many, but I would say at least hundreds that show the land mass across the bottom of the ball. And we've definitely, got this one with the land around the outside. It's the only one I've been able to find so far that's a flat map that shows this land. But there are also a few others. There's one that was found in Japan. It was printed in a newspaper early last century, and it showed extra land outside of this central region, which we are told is the world, right? The ball world. That's all the land there is. And of course, people often ask, with the flat earth, why would they hide the earth? Well, here's one reason, so they can hide other lands where maybe that they're still functioning as old world cities with free energy. Maybe there's a lot of resources. Maybe this is where extraterrestrials live in the extra territory, right? And they can just fly into the center and fly back out. Okay, no, million light years to travel or any of this kind of stuff. Maybe that's why we're seeing all this activity in the air and also from the ocean, right? Coming through under the ocean and then flying around. Does that mean there's a dome? I don't know. I don't know where the dome would fit in exactly on this map. Is the dome new as well? If it's there, maybe it was placed, again, 400 or 500 years ago, 600 at the outside. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think? Now, I've been following this, sort of track of thinking for a while now, but there is another good video put out. Just Google Captain Gunn. He actually only has one video, and he also goes into this and the lands, and it's definitely an interesting video worth a watch. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this, and obviously, guys, please give me a like, share this video around, help get it out there, to let people know that the world that we've been taught about, that is our home, the maps we've been shown and the land masses, if it's true now, because I'm sure they're not all accurate, but it was definitely a different realm 400 or 500 years ago, right, when these maps were drawn in the 15 and 1600s. So leave me your comments, let me know your thoughts, link anything that's interesting that you found, and stay awesome. I'll talk to you on the next upload. Bye for now.
Remember, in the end, nobody wins unless everybody wins. Come on!